The moron.
All right, beautiful people. Welcome back to the popular playground. Ramon, we have Jen with us and also Debbie. Glad to have you guys with us, wherever you're watching, however you're watching, on audio or on YouTube. Today, we're going to talk about how to self assess, self evaluate your skills so that you can better understand your purpose and know what you're good at so you can have that career. With that said, we're going to kick this thing off. Debbie or Jen, you guys want to start off by kind of breaking this down in your words?
Why don't you do it, Debbie? When I was growing up, it was a whole different generation. Women didn't work. We would have home. That was my time when I said, oh, hell, this isn't going to be me. Why was that Susie Homemaker or Betty Crocker? I was definitely going to be some person with a career. Somebody else was going to clean my house and take care of all that stuff. I was a very compassionate person. I loved animals. I would save the bird with the working wing. I would the little kitten that was going out at night, and so I would come and save that one. Mind you, I would do all this without my mom finding out because that was the thing. And that led me to go and live on the dude ranch where I worked with animals that led me to become part of the rodeo circuit. I had horses. I had cattle drives. I rodeoed. I used a barrel race and trick flying. And that was a favorite part of my life. And then, during you go out of that, I never wanted to get away from the caring part. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I was like, okay, well, I could go and be a vet tech. Great. Went and found a veterinarian who was opening a practice. And I told him about my experience. And he's like, okay, I'm looking for somebody to help me. I can train you to be a vet tech. So I went and he did. He trained me. I mean, I was doing injections. I was taking labs. I was using the centrifuge, assisting in surgeries. Greatest opportunity of my life. Then I got to, after a while, I was like, I want to be a nurse. So I went back to school. I got my degree. It's a registered nurse and went into the hospital and worked and took care of patients. And I realized that I want to work with moms and new babies. And that's where I ended up settling for quite a few years until finally in the hospitals. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I've learned where the job, you just go, this is not good anymore. I need to something else. It became overwhelming with the amount of patients that they were trying to force on you, giving you 4 moms, 4 babies. So it's like, well, okay, you're putting my license at jeopardy. I need to resign. So then I saw a job opportunity to work for a blood bank. And I thought, this is perfect. I've had so many surgeries that I needed blood. And I'm like, yes, I can make the difference for somebody to make sure that the blood that they're getting on their next surgery is perfect, contaminated, and drawing correctly. Yes, this is what I want. So that's what I did. And that's how I finished out my nursing career. And let me tell you, anybody that worked underneath me, we followed the rules. I mean, there was no cutting corners, and any of the people on my blood lines and that, their blood was 100% pure. Because if not, I was like, nope, all their bloods. So it all came from that compassion for life and helping animals, people, babies, patients in hospitals. But that's where my heart is. It's in I'm very compassionate. I want to take care of people. And I knew that right in the beginning. But it just rolled in the years. I had to go from one phase to the next, and then where I ended up. And that was my way of, that's how I transformed from one area to the next, and that was my.
What's up, Jen?
I can attest to all of that with Debbie, because I was on her team in the blood bank, and she was an amazing and compassionate supervisor. You had to take your breaks, and if you didn't, she'd write you up. She made sure to take care of her team to make sure that her team was together too. That's one thing that I always appreciated about Debbie. Very similar journey to that with teaching, and that I I started being a catechism teacher. And then I thought, I've always known I wanted to teach. And then I started by volunteering teaching, as a teacher's aide in my son's school, and then catechism teaching. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to go through, I'm going to get my bachelor's. I'm going to do this. Was in middle elementary and junior high. I did go back to phlebotomy, went back and forth between the two because I enjoyed that part of it, even though I didn't want to be a nurse or a doctor. I did enjoy the variety of the lab, actual drawing blood part of it, because I got to engage with the patients. I love talking to people. I love the interaction
Yeah.
with all of that and the teaching. And I finished my teaching career at the behavioral tech at school because it wasn't the same. Even though I thought it would be a little bit easier than teaching because I'm just working one-on-one, but I wasn't prepared for the lack of support with the parents and the
Nice.
teachers and the administration. And it turned out to be much worse when I was full-time teaching. So I ended up just having to bow out because I was not excited about waking up to go to work. And when I had taken a summer job with Disney, I enjoyed that so much more. I ended up just staying with Disney and doing that because I get everything that I always ever wanted. I get the interaction with people. I get the fun, and the benefits aren't that bad either. And it was also on my bucket list to be able to work at Disney. So everything that I've ever wanted, I have now. And I still get to mentor and do a lot of the things that I want to do. And it allows me the time and my schedule to be able to do this as well. I have no complaints. And it's a pivot that I thought that I would never end up in. What turned out to be a summer job ended up being my main squeeze. And just loving it. And I will say with this until it makes sense to just do podcasting full time.
Yeah. Awesome. That's beautiful.
Yeah. What about you? What's your story?
Yeah, I don't know, how deep I want to get in my story, but I like what you guys, said in your story. I think that probably resonated with a lot of people. I never had one main niche or category of career. I've been all over the place. So my story is more just multiple things. But one thing I do want to say for those listening is that you are who you say you are, not who people say you are. Okay. And so a lot of times what happens is, what can happen is people can put you in a box just because, oh, well, you're this, you're that, you do this, you're the nurse, you're the firefighter. You know what I'm saying? Your career can also be your purpose or part of your purpose, right? Kind of like a complement to your purpose. But for some people, it's not going to be that necessarily, and it doesn't always have to be. And even if it is, that still might not be all there is to you and what you'll do in life. Also consider that whatever you do, there are also secondary skills in that career or job that can help you in your next step. Like Jen, you were Army, Air Force, I was Air Force. And when I got out, at first I didn't know what to tell people, like, oh, well, because I was armament. So it's like missiles, bombs, explosives. Like, how does that translate to like anything you can do in the civilian world, right? I think around this time too, we were kind of changing the corner about like how we look at skill sets, right? How we take someone and assess their skill set, right? And so there were a lot of veterans getting out and had jobs like mine, or just jobs that had nothing to do with anything that you can do out in the civilian world. But veterans had leadership skills, they had tech skills, right? They were dependable, right? A lot of them had their commercial like CDL license because they had to drive like big trucks. And, so there was all kind of skill sets that employees were finding out that veterans had. So that was one thing, right? Also, besides like veteran stuff like that, whatever you do in your job, you might not think much of it. Maybe you just type on a computer all day, or maybe you're a cashier, or maybe you're a plumber or an electrician, right? You got to understand, you know your job better than anyone else does. Just because you've been doing that job for years doesn't mean that someone else has come along and do what you do as well as you do. So you got to have some self-belief and confidence in yourself that what you're doing can translate to other things, right? Just because you're a plumber. I know guys that have been working in the trades. After I got out the Air Force, I went to trades. I was on construction sites and eventually I went to HVAC school. Okay. So, but I know guys that I worked alongside with who are electricians, other HVAC guys. Some of those guys went out and started their own business. So, for some people, they might look at them and say, couldn't imagine this person being a business owner. But these guys were like, hey, I can do this trade. I have these skills. I know if I start, I can eventually hire people and then I have a business that runs itself. And like these
Problem
guys,
sol-
huh?
problem solvers, like we talked
Yeah,
about last episode.
exactly. So, don't limit yourself and don't let other people limit you. That's my point. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is you are who you say you are, not who other people define you as. So don't shortchange yourself. No matter what you're doing, there are skill sets that can translate to other things.
Right. Don't label. That's
Yeah, there you go.
all right.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, next topic we're going to talk about is going to be career path.
Mm.
Make sure to join us for that,
All right, guys.
John. All right. Bye-bye.